Hi, welcome to Aim at-one-ment. I'm Adrian, and thank you for visiting my channel. What's it all about? Well, firstly, what's in a name? Atonement is something you can find a zillion posts on. At-one-ment is what it sounds like. It's about the goal of our existence, and that, I believe, is to get closer to God, be at one with God. What else is the channel about? Life, love, the universe, God, guides, dimensions, advice from wiser beings than us on getting through this life, on being more you, on being a better co-creator, finding answers to some of the questions of life. We do largely live the questions, but hopefully I can provide you through this channel with some answers to those questions. I also hope to get some answers from you. Who am I to be holding forth about life? Nobody famous or eminently degreed or distinguished. But I am a watcher, a learner, and a lover of truths. I was really fortunate to be born to parents who, unlike most in their era, believed that children chose their parents. Something I argued about when I was a kid. They believed in reincarnation, they meditated, they questioned, and they loved. They were really sweet folk. My dad was considered a distinguished gentleman, but at the same time, he saw sprites at the seaside. My mother was a writer, editor of magazines, a published author, and love was her mantra. Dad used one word, where most people use three. Mum, on the other hand, blithely held forth. Now, I was the last of 7 children, and I was the late one. And as a result of a series of circumstances, I was often left ungoverned and alone. And through my whole life, I've learned a lot about being alone. It's not bad. It gives you space, and it gives you perspective. I've also learned through my life about other things. I was invited to join a circle at the invitation of high guides. And in that circle, we spoke to the guides. There was no channeling, no divining, no interpretation. How does that work? The medium went into a deep trance state, and the guides took over the body, controlled the body. And so we conversed, just as you would with a teacher or a mentor. So I do have knowledge. I do have teachings to pass on. Some of us took up what is called ghost busting. So here we learned every day about sensing negativity, unnatural energy. We dealt with earthbound spirits, what people call ghosts. We dealt with witchcraft, possessions. We worked with prayer and determination, and we persevered, and it was miraculous. Miraculous, often more for us than for the people we helped. I've driven away from houses many times, whooping with delight, because the difference, the before and after, and that's in the space of an hour and a half, is just tremendous. So that work we did full time for a number of years. And the work was exhilarating and often a reward in itself. More than that, though, I wouldn't be speaking to you if somebody had not, and not for the first time, set out to destroy me using witchcraft. No, that's not all in the mind, these things I'm talking of. A number of years ago, I fell really ill. The doctor was at a loss. She was about to admit me to hospital. Tests revealed nothing. This went on for months. And I was sent to a medium where I happily spoke to a guide I know well, who told me it was witchcraft. And it was quite explicit about where it came from, how it was done. It wasn't willy-nilly. It was premeditated to destroy me. And I quote, he said, "Think of yourself as a voodoo doll being poked. I was really trepidant about starting a channel and sharing stuff about me and stuff that's come to me from high guides because of what might occur. I mean, negative response from some people. But having dispelled an attack like that does make this a lot easier. I was also directed to do this. I was, once again, sent to see a psychic, and she said, Spirit wants you to write a book or a series of books about life. I'm like, why me? I am an ex-radio DJ. I have since become a journalist, so I talk shit, write shit. This is my way of writing now. But I said, why me? She said, it's not necessarily that you have something that no one else has ever had to say, which was my first thought. She said, it's just that you make it relatable, not woo-woo. Or as we say where I come from, hey, shoo, fully wow. I hope that's the case. Otherwise, I'm wasting your time and I'm wasting mine. I don't think that's going to be the case, though. Apart from ghost busting, where we learned every day about different energies and clearing negativity and sensing it wherever you are, I've also combined that with something else. I can't really explain what the something else is, but I call it mental healing. It's where I can tune into how a person is, and I practice this on people I know without them knowing. It was easy because I could visualize them, and there was a connection, I guess. Some of them I haven't seen in decades. And I found out when I talked to people about it that I was spot on, especially when they were in denial. Oh, it's such a giveaway. And since then, I've done this for people that I don't know at all. I've been a travel writer for over a decade. And in the course of my travels, I've cleared many places. At first, I didn't tell anybody about clearing the places either. But eventually, I got bold enough to tell the patrons because I figured, whether they were bemused or not, A, the place is going to feel better, and B, they may attract more clientele. I remember one such place in my travels, the most haunted place I've yet been, with a highly skeptical owner. I just couldn't sit there while he did his welcome introduction. I was so beset by heavy and negative energy. It was a bombardment, and I had a cracking headache as a result. He's writing about it now in his memoirs. He noticed a huge difference. And so have other people who I've done it for remotely. I cleared a house in the UK, and I've cleared a place in New Zealand. And that was interesting because there's people I haven't seen in decades. And God has a strange way of working, and I'm hoping through this channel that there will be a lot more working in this way. People have been drawn to those people who I've helped, or who they've come into contact with, I've ended up clearing. Quite ad hoc sometimes. But I'll go into that more in another post. You might want to check that out. It's called Ghost Busting. I'll go into this all in much more detail. I also, on my channel, go on some long ramblings about my insights about life and how to navigate life in a better way. I said at the beginning, to become a co-creator, to become more you. By that I mean getting closer to God. And I really hope that helps all of us. Because one thing I learned in my life is that everybody has spiritual gifts. And those spiritual gifts can be used to uplift and raise the collective consciousness of the entire world. So I hope that you find on this channel things that motivate you, help you to progress on your path, to be responsible to your gifts, and to raise the collective consciousness. I will say I don't always do mental healing. I've been guided to stop at times, such as the beginning of the COVID lockdown, where it came to me that sometimes people have to go through stuff and figure it out the messy way, if you like, the hard way. I have also farted against thunder. I had a situation where I was trying to help somebody who was really going through a tough time. Really. And we'd had a robust discussion, for want of a better way of putting it, where I was told, whatever you're about to say, I want you to know that I don't believe the same. Some words to that effect. Nevertheless, the person consented to be cleared. But I get information through my hands, how someone's affected, how the power is flowing as God's power flows through my hands. And I knew straight away that this wasn't really going to have the desired effect. It wasn't going to have the effect that it would have on someone who was more open to God's power. So it's not my power, it's God's power. I'm humbled and blessed that, and amazed sometimes that God allows His power to flow through me. Which leads me to, how do we clear? I say we because when doing ghost busting, I normally work in a team, 2 of us at least, but I have on many occasions, circumstances have dictated that I'm on my own. I have to clear a place or I have to clear a person. Emergency sort of thing. And that's fine. It works just the same. It's just nice to work as a team, but I'll discuss that more in that other post called Ghost Busting. But what does happen is, as I said, God's power flows through our hands. So we ask the person whether we're present with them or it's across the seas, to just sit in an upright chair, feet flat on the floor, legs uncrossed, so as not to block any energy flow, power flow through the body. Eyes closed, just relax, and we put our hands near the head if we're with the person. And because there's a power flow, our hands get really hot. It's a great way to keep them warm in winter. Because there's a power flow, people feel warmth around the head. They may feel more, they may feel a fluttering in the chest. It really depends how a person's affected and how much a person's affected. And we get that information coming through our hands. Well, the power comes through our hands, and from that we ascertain how someone's affected. If you want to get a hold of me about mental healing and clearing of negativity, my contact details are in the description box below. If you find value in what I'm sharing, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell too, so you don't miss any of my posts. And please remember that you are a sliver of divinity, and keep your sliver shining, reflecting back to God, and let no one dull that shine.